Saving money is not an easy task as it requires giving up some habitual expenses. However, even small savings can be very helpful in the future. In this video, I will share the most effective methods that helped me increase my initial capital for investments several times over in a very short period of time. I will start with the emotional aspect of saving. Behavioral finance researcher Shlomo Ben-Artzi confirms that the emotional aspect significantly influences our behavior towards money. The overwhelming majority of people perceive saving as depriving themselves of something important at the moment, which causes negative emotions. For example, in Germany, to become an organ donor, you need to check a box on documents, and very few people do it. In Austria, on the other hand, you need to check a box if you do not want to be a donor, and there are more donors. This shows how strongly we are inclined towards inaction and how it affects our financial decisions. A similar principle can be applied to savings. If you make the saving process as simple and automated as possible, it will be easier to stick to this plan. Ben-Artzi, along with another behavioral economist, Richard Thaler, a Nobel laureate in economics, developed a program called Save More Tomorrow. It involves gradually increasing savings as income grows. This allows saving money more painlessly without drastically cutting current expenses. This method is especially useful for those who are not ready to start saving a significant portion of their income right away. Researchers conducted an experiment in a small American company. Employees were required to increase the amount of their salary they saved by 3% every time they received a raise. The experiment was conducted over 4 years. Initially, employees saved 3% of their salary. In 1999, they started saving 6.5%. A year later, 9.4%. By 2001, they were saving 11.6%. And by 2002, 13.6%. In other words, the participants of the experiment began to save 4 times more. An increase in savings leads to a significant difference in the lifestyle people can afford. If in the first year of the experiment workers could afford to buy only a new pair of sneakers, with their savings by 2002 they could afford a car. Using psychology to your advantage. The psychological aspect of saving is very important. Therefore, it is advisable to use it to your advantage. You can use psychological tricks to help yourself save money. For example, people often plan to save money in the future but forget that the future will come quickly and they will remain the same people with the same habits. This is called the fresh start effect. We believe that in the future we will handle tasks better than in the present, and therefore we postpone important decisions. I, for example, like to start implementing something new in my life from the evening of today. If you want to start making changes in your life as soon as possible, start right now, or at the latest from the beginning of the new week, and immediately set your financial goals and savings plan. Practical savings strategies. Now I will share with you the most effective ways that will allow you to quickly build your first substantial capital. To start, I strongly recommend setting aside a fixed percentage of your income into a separate account. This percentage should be determined in advance and not change depending on your income in a particular month. This approach helps not only to save money, but also to better plan your expenses. Automatic transfers to a deposit, from which you cannot withdraw money until it matures, are also very useful as they prevent you from using these funds prematurely. One of the most effective methods I use is the 50-30-20 personal budget rule. This means that 50% of your income goes to housing and groceries, 30% to travel and dining out, and another 20% to savings. Another effective way to save capital is by using cashback. Many banks and payment systems return a portion of the money spent on purchases. I try to use cards and services that offer the highest percentage of cashback for the categories of purchases I make most often. For example, if I frequently buy groceries, I choose a card with a high cashback percentage on grocery store purchases. This helps me return a portion of the money spent and thus increase my savings. Before making large purchases, I give myself 30 days to think it over. This helps avoid impulsive spending and better weigh the necessity of the purchase. Sometimes, after this time, I realize I can do without the item, or I find better deals. This approach allows me to be more conscious of my spending and avoid unnecessary expenses. It is very important to keep track of your income and expenses. For this, I recommend using various applications that allow you to see where the money goes and where you can save. I also set specific goals and deadlines for my savings, which helps maintain motivation. For example, I set a goal to save a certain amount by a specific date, whether it's for a vacation or a new car. This helps me stay focused and not spend money on unnecessary things. If you use subscription services, I strongly recommend switching the payment system from a credit card to a debit card. This way you will always control your spending. Planning purchases and avoiding credit cards. It is very important to learn how to plan purchases and avoid credit cards. To avoid thoughtless spending, I recommend making shopping lists for the month, week, and each specific trip to the store. This helps stay within the planned amount and buy only what is necessary. Avoiding credit cards also reduces the likelihood of losses due to spontaneous purchases. A person with a debit card or cash approaches their spending more consciously. The 10-second rule and the save more tomorrow principle. When we come across a cheap and desired item, I recommend taking a 10-second pause and thinking about whether you really need it. This helps avoid unnecessary purchases and makes spending more conscious. This technique is especially useful in supermarkets, where it is easy to succumb to impulsive buying. The Save More Tomorrow principle, proposed by Shlomo Ben-Artzi, involves increasing your savings with each increase in income. This helps strengthen the habit of saving and makes the process less painful. Maximizing income for savings. To accumulate funds, you don't have to limit yourself to just saving. You can find a way to earn more and, accordingly, save more. If a person's expenses are comparable to or exceed their income, this may indicate inefficient financial management. And in such a situation, adjustments need to be made. One possible way to increase income is by taking on additional work that can be conveniently combined with the main job, so as not to disrupt the work rhythm. Evaluate your current market value. Perhaps you deserve a salary increase because you are a good specialist, or you can improve your qualifications and become more in demand. It is also useful to review your asset portfolio. Selling long unused assets, such as land plots or other unprofitable property, as well as refinancing debt obligations, can free up additional funds for investments or improve liquidity. The collected funds can be invested to create additional income. The choice of investment instruments depends on your comfort level with risk, financial goals, and the period for which you plan to invest. Options may include diversified assets such as low-cost dividend stocks, corporate bonds, ETFs, and mutual funds. If you don't want to miss the opportunity to understand the world of investments from scratch and earn tens of thousands of dollars passively each year, subscribe to my channel and write the word investments in the comments. I will send you an exclusive educational guide that will help you start your investment journey.